Hello. Okay. So we're live. Okay. So today is going to be a bit different. And let me switch windows over here. Okay, there we go. So today is going to be a bit different. I'm kind of drained from the past week, where all the teachers were pretty much rushing to check everything. Hi, Lawrence. Um, so today is going to be kind of like I suppose it's the equivalent of the just chatting types of streams from the streamers on Twitch, I guess. In which, it's just going to be us chatting, coding. Wag mo na ngayon. Honestly, my brain's kind of fried, so we'll just be talking about different things. I mean, so it's just going to be us talking. I've come up with some things that I want to talk about. Sergio will join us later. He's currently, I think he's only getting home, so he's still preparing a bunch of stuff. So while we're waiting for him, let's just talk about a few things, and maybe we can. Well, I mean, at least there are 5 people in chat, so I guess before I talk about the things that I was thinking about the entire day, maybe chat wants to suggest things to talk about. So we can talk about school, we can talk about, home life, all of these other things. I'm not sure. Let's see. Well, okay, so let's see. Some of the things that I was thinking about last day is, well, I mean, we're all feeling the burn, I suppose, of work. Whether you're a student or whether you're a student in high school, you're a student in college, or somehow you're a professional that is watching the stream for some reason. I'm not sure. What's immediately on my mind? Well, thinking a lot about how people address work, their approach to, and their demeanor, because some people like to think that being someone who's in the sciences, who works in the sciences, even though teaching is often described as a kind of a humanitarian art. The fact that I teach in a science high school, I teach computer science. It's normally, and honestly, my personality also does kind of point the. I'm a very science, logical sided kind of person, which I suppose it's kind of true. But I suppose I also like thinking about the way people think, the way people move, their reasons and motivations. I like stories a lot, actually. In fact, a lot of my free time is spent consuming all of these stories. So whether it's comics, whether it's manga, whether it's fan fiction, admittedly, I kind of change depending on. I prefer the kind of quick and easy to digest, so I default to manga and comics because they're very easy to go through very quickly. And TV shows and anime, they take entire 30-minute chunks of per episode, so it's unless I play it at times 2 speed, I can only finish so much within the day. Books, depending on the book, it can be long or shorter. Fan fiction is normally the more digestible type, I suppose, and there's actually some pretty good fan fiction out there. My favorite number is electric fan. Depends on if I'm sleeping, it's 1. Otherwise, normally 2. But I was thinking about how people are handling the pandemic, because people are getting stressed out, might not realize it, or they are realizing it, but don't know how to address it. He touched upon it a bit during that first stream with the Circuit, in which how do you how do we handle, and it was more along the lines of, okay, so this is our situation, and what can we do to sort of balance things out. But I was thinking more along the lines of motivation and kind of why we feel stressed, why we react to this kind of stress in a particular way. So yeah, I've been spending quite a bit of time thinking that the thought comes and goes depending on the day. And well, I mean, let's see, what can I talk about it? It's honestly a really long thought process. It talks about the ideas of failure, the ideas of effort, the ideas of fairness, and all of these other things. So it's honestly so much to talk about when it comes to one thing I was thinking about is obviously here during the pandemic, we're kind of away from our normal, and I suppose I remember talking about this with some students, or who was I talking about with? Anyway, I remember at the end of when the pandemic started, I was still handling my grade 10 section, photon. I wanted to figure out something that I could do with them, or something I could give them that would kind of help alleviate the beginning symptoms of the weight that was quarantining yourself, not seeing your friends. I came up with what I termed vaguely productive tasks, because how did I come about it? The idea was that we feel we feel down and we feel burdened because we are being forced into a situation that we have no control over. And it's a really bad thing to feel. It's a very oppressive feeling that you're not able to control the things that you'd normally be able to control. The ability to go where you want, the ability to talk who you want to talk to, the ability to connect with friends. So, and having this taken away and limited, so all of our interactions are now forced to online interaction. So of course, it's definitely it's oppressive, and so it feels like, okay, I can no longer do. I am no longer in control of my life. So there's that alone already kind of is a thought approaching defeat in a certain sense. And so what I wanted to do with these vaguely productive tasks was to kind of encourage in my students at the time this idea that, okay, yes, there are things that are outside of your control, but there are also still many things that are still under your control. It originally started as I wanted to provide kind of goals, get up on time, read how many minutes of this book, read this book for how many minutes, try to look into a new hobby, and all of these other things. It was those kinds of those productive tasks. So it originally started as productive tasks that they can do in quarantine, so that even though that they're limited in terms of what they can do, they can still be productive. Unfortunately, putting myself in the shoes of people who are who have just been forced into their homes and have not much freedom to do anything, I can imagine that being productive is kind of like the last thing on people's minds. That, I mean, you just want to relax. I mean, I'm already stuck at home. Why do I have to force myself to be productive and do these things? So I had to kind of backpedal. Okay, so how do I properly package this in a way that would be more, more digestible? And I came up with vaguely productive tasks. So I'd give hi Hannah. So I'd give out these tasks, and I would always phrase it in a certain way in which it could be completed in different aspects. So, for example, I remember, do I have the picture? I probably do, but I don't want to show it on stream because you guys, you have a record of it. So, one of my tasks on one day was read something. So, obviously, that would be to read a book of poetry, a classical novel, maybe fan fiction. So, it could be anything. So, it was purposely to read something, and just to keep things fun. So send a picture of you doing it to the group chat. So, and I myself kind of demonstrated myself doing it both kind of proper way and the not so proper way. So obviously I got a book, started reading, well, pretended to read, and took a picture of myself doing it. And just for kicks, so to show how to misinterpret the rules, I also took a picture of myself reading different labels around the house. So I was reading the label of this hand sanitizer. I was reading the label of this chili pepper container, and all of these other things. So, okay, if you can't read a book, then at least figure out what you're putting in your food. And that will be your accomplishment for the day. And I wanted to give those my students at the time those small wins that they could do throughout the pandemic. Yes, Hannah, I took a picture of myself reading labels. It was just to prove a point that being productive being productive does not necessarily have to be kind of the societal productive, but it can be even just what you think is worth spending your time on. I mean, not that I think that reading labels is worth spending my time on. Maybe in some cases, but all right. Did you see a picture of that, Josh? Yeah, I remember consulting Mom Edlen and Sir Q about it, about the idea, and yeah, it did look like an ad. So yeah, and I guess what I want to point out here is that because I also remember at the time there was this kind of idea that you don't have to be productive. There was this on Facebook. So these things that because there were, at first there were a lot of things that you can do in quarantine. So read a book, exercise, all these other things, and so many things. And there was the counter wave in which kind of they wanted to combat that idea that you had to do something just because you're stuck at home. Okay, so now you have to do something to make up for the time that you're not out there doing something. So there came that counter wave in which, no, you don't have to be productive. You don't have to do all these things. You don't have to feel guilty for taking a break. You don't have to feel guilty for not doing these things that society will kind of value you for. And I suppose seeing things from both perspectives, I mean, I can understand wanting to be productive, wanting to not waste your time. I can also understand not having to force yourself to do that. But we kind of have to remove that concept of productive is kind of I suppose this outwardly beneficial thing, because sleep is productive. I'm not sure if you realize that, but sleep is very productive, especially if you get the right amount every day. Of course, if you get too much of it, then the benefits that you get from sleep will start to go down, and you're probably better off using it somewhere else. Rest is productive. Spending time on your hobbies is productive. It might not be valued by people other than yourself, but the fact is that as long as you value it, as long as it has value to you, and you decide that it's worth your time doing, then it's definitely something that's productive. So pick up a hobby, sewing, cooking, all of these other things. So, which honestly, if I think about it, those are plus points to a person. But even these smaller things, so yeah, like what I do. So I remember before I used to think that okay, I like reading stories, but I have to read something that's quote unquote productive. So I should read biographies, I should read essays, I should read more more cultural stuff, I suppose. And that if I were to spend my entire day or my reading time reading manga, reading fan fiction, reading all of these other things, it would be time wasted. Well, I mean, I suppose there's value to reading the classics, to reading certain known authors, reading the bestsellers, reading the top 100 books as recommended by whatever list. There's definitely value. Reading does form certain habits and virtues in anyone. But just because that's the other reading material is quote unquote lower level, does not mean that there's no value. So I can read manga, I can read fan fiction, and the fact that I'm able to relax, I'm able to distress from doing these things, that it kind of feeds my creative and again I really like stories. So the fact that I'm able to get this enjoyment from it means that it's valuable. Of course, like all things, you have to balance it. So it's not just pure enjoyment. It's not just pure benefit. It's not just pure output. So always has to be balanced. So as much as I'd like to keep on reading manga until the end of my days, there is some benefit to reading the more forming things, I suppose. Okay. I told Joshua I would stall until 8:20 until he can join the call. Hang on, let me message him really quick. Okay. If my keyboard sounds weird, it's because my power supply for the microphone broke, so I had to readjust the settings so that I could keep using it. And I had to use a bunch of filters, so it sounds kind of like it's stuck underwater. Hi, Ali. Let's see. Okay, Josh is ready. Let me just call him through Discord. Hello?
Hey.
Yun. Hang on. Let me just switch scenes.
Mic test.
And
1, 2, 3. Mic test. 1, 2, 3.
are you using Luke's microphone?
No, this is mine. I had to invest in my own.
Okay, hang on. Let me just switch. Is that fixed? Okay, there we go. So we welcome Sir Q back. Is this a podcast? What's the definition of podcast?
I don't know. Is it still called a podcast? Man, you were really stretching out those 20 minutes there. The last few bits. Mark stretching. I should jump in.
Okay,
but
so,
yeah, agreeing with you. When it comes to deciding on what to do, sometimes you have to play it smart. Among all the choices you have to read, sometimes you want to choose anything with New York's best seller. But I think all of them already has bestseller nowadays. Can you pay for those, or do you really have to be a bestseller? But yeah, about sponsors, right? Are we going to talk about sponsors? Did our Enervon make it through?
Why would we get sponsored by Enervon? like
this
the
is
least energetic person.
that's the topic today, right? Are we gonna? Didn't they sponsor us to talk about energy? Didn't you get the script?
Oh,
So, a word from our sponsors. Um, hey, Mark, how are you? No, just kidding. Yeah. It's so tiring. I'm so tired. No, okay.
where,
This is not part of the ad.
where'd you come from, ba?
No. I I bought a mechanical keyboard. Anyway,
Why?
nainggit ako sa'yo eh. I keep on hearing your tiki tak. And aren't you a streamer? You're not yet a streamer unless you have blue switches, right?
No. For streaming, you don't want blue switches because it's going to be
Oh, really?
noisy, especially if you're
Oh,
playing games. You might want brown switches because they're more tactile.
see, from a resident streamer. Here you go. But
Ako, I have blue switches kasi I know I have coding videos where I'd like it for people to hear me clicking the keyboard clicks.
that's by the way, that's Sir Tarcy's ASMR channel. He'll be coding for 1 hour straight, and all you'll hear is his clickety clack keyboard and his grunting when he sees a error on your code.
Parang typing ASMR and just typing ASD.
Oh, yeah, I do hear that red switches are the most. I think it's the quietest, but the feel you want the feel when it comes to
Okay, so what are we talking about?
aren't you tired?
Well,
The whole
I mean,
day, both of us. We were both in Stockholm from what 9 to. What time did
9
we
to
finish?
5 o'clock, I think. 5:30? One of the time 5:30. Di ko
With a
nata.
lunch break. With a lunch break of what 30 minutes.
Yeah, about 30 minutes. Though admittedly, I kind of ducked out really quick to kind of get a head start on lunch.
So yeah, actually, I was thinking of not attending because tired. I'm so tired. But when you said the topic was about how to do things even though you're tired, then I thought, will I learn the secret that Mark does? Why he's up all the time, being able to finish check all those projects submitted by the students at the very, very last minute, and then be prepared the next day with the grades.
What do you mean very
Like,
last minute?
oh,
Okay, so for people in chat, to be honest, just to give you a bit of background of this morning or even yesterday, I was thinking of not streaming today and putting out the excuse that we're really busy. Me and Sir Q are tired from having to sit in this meeting. Why do they put grades 9 and 10 on the same day now?
no idea. I
Anyway.
teach both grades.
Anyway, so and I thought it would be okay. Yeah, I mean, when people are tired, it's good to take a break, and it would be a good opportunity to send that message that once you know that you need a break, then it's good to take it. However, at the same time, I was also thinking that there will be times that you will have to work even though you are tired. I'm sure you as students definitely know that feeling. I might say that your threshold for what you think you have to kind of sacrifice for still lacks a bit of context being not your students. So because okay, just to put it out there.
It's so scary.
Just to put it out there. No schoolwork, no homework, no assignment given to you will ever weigh as much as your health. Okay? So just to put that out there. However,
Take our advice.
No, but but at the same time, when you grow up, once you start quote unquote working the real world, you will find that there are times that why are you laughing?
The
Anyway,
real world.
So you will find that there are times that your personal principles, your personal uh, ideas, convictions will lead you to say that no, uh, even though it's going to be hard at the moment, I still have to do something, anything. You know that saying that no, there was this thing going around. It was a Tumblr picture that was going around on Facebook. I remember seeing it. That okay, there's the saying that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing well. And then the Tumblr post kind of amended that saying, well, I mean, definitely it's worth doing well, but if it's worth doing, then if you can't do it well, do it poorly. So, and I kind of wanted this stream to be an example of us doing it poorly, because I didn't prepare a code. I didn't prepare. So
Yeah. Actually, the thing that's coming to my mind is that if you remember we grew up from the comics of Calvin Hobbes back then, and it's a
yeah.
very very it's a very weird comic to grow up with as a kid, and then when you read it as an adult, it has double meanings pala. That oh, so that's how what it meant. But yeah, it talks about like how a kid grows up na whenever something bad happens to him or something that he grudges to do, his father would always say it builds character. Now, it's a lame excuse if you think about it as a kid, but in fairness, when you get older, these are the smaller things that you'd appreciate later on when you grow up in life. Na daanan ko rin yun eh. Like I've gone through it. I know what it feels. So that's one thing that Sir Tarcy and I wanted to share with you is that how do you get to rest effectively? How do you get to be energized despite working through all the things that you're going through? Like, can you imagine what you're doing? Is I mentioned this to my grade 10 students that if workers are only allowed to work for 8 hours, what about students? There's a law that protects workers. How about students? Do you study for more than 8 hours? What do you think? Hang on. That's a bit unfair. They are indeed working, quote unquote, for more than 8 hours.
Well, I
But
mean, I'd say that teachers also sometimes work more than. But okay, yeah, that's true. It doesn't invalidate the fact that the students do work a lot.
yeah. So you have back then when I was in the military with ROTC, there was one quote that they had us ingrained in our minds is that you have to love your work in order that you don't feel it as work. We had to repeat it until it was ingrained in our minds. But later on, yeah, we did learn how to walk, to love our work. Was it called brainwashing? I'm not so sure, but it does have a sense. Like, yeah, you want to choose the things like what Sir Tarcy said. Have to start prioritizing or categorizing things that you feel is important for you. Something that you feel will be able to refresh you. Sometimes an hour of Genshin Impact might actually be beneficial to you than a 3 hour nap because you feel something that you were able to accomplish something that you like, and yet in a short amount of time, you're able to rest. The thing is, we consider rest as something as napping, not doing anything, evading the thing that we're supposed to do. But for me personally, with my experience in life, wow, how old are we? But it's you kind of consider time is suddenly valuable, and that's the thing that you have to consider. Something that you um have to spend wisely, I guess. So
Mm.
yeah,
Honestly,
too deep. I think
no. I
that
mean,
was just 10 minutes in.
that's right. That's right. Though, admittedly, I was kind of taking this session in a different direction. Parang,
Yeah,
when I brought up the topic, it seems we understood the different thing. So, actually, these are no two sides of the same coin. So, Sir Q was talking about how to rest, how to, um, I was going more along the lines of, okay, um, you're tired, definitely. Um, how do we still go about working even though we're tired, even though we might not really feel like doing things, even though we might not feel the passion. Well, I mean, uh,
Oh, I
yeah,
know, I know, I
sige,
know.
go.
I know the
What?
answer. I mean, isn't it always important to address it, like to recognize it? I feel like students always have this notion na hindi dapat ako mapagod. I shouldn't be feeling this way. I
Mm.
shouldn't I shouldn't be feeling this way. Yeah, like that. But
Mm.
I think the earlier that you recognize it, the earlier that you can address it. And the earlier that you can address it, you can easily know what steps to take.
Mm.
But that's for me. How about for you? What would you
Actually,
say?
that's a good that's a good angle. I didn't really think about that much before. Because okay, work is kind of a reality of life, and along with that reality of life is that work is tiring. You can say that you love your work, but regardless of how much you love your work, it is going to be tiring if it. Um, and to recognize that the thing that you do does take away from your energy, from you yourself, uh, and at the end of the day, that you only have so much to give, then it's definitely good. It's a good thing to address. So that okay, so since I know that this kind of work drains me, once I've done this work, then I definitely have to take a break, even though. So yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting approach to managing to kind of okay, so I do this kind of work well, it doesn't drain me as much, so if I keep on doing this kind of work the entire day, I'm good. But if I do this other kind of work for even just 30 minutes in the morning, wala na, I'm out. I need to spend the rest of the day. And I know that's it's really good to it's really important to know yourself and your own specifics when it comes to uh working. Now, what I kind of know,
I think we lost
hmm,
chat. Did we lose
really?
chat?
No, no,
I
they're there. They're there. They're just
there-
they're just spectating.
Hello. Okay, to make things a bit more interactive out there for the listeners out there, maybe you could type in there what do you guys do nowadays to rest? Like we are kind of old. Are we detached from the students nowadays?
I
Like
mean, I don't think so.
what did we used to play when we were kids? But for you guys, what's your rest? Maybe it's something that would be interesting for us to talk about in I say Genshin a lot because I find Genshin a lot of work recently. More than rest.
I mean,
But
if you're grinding, so I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I
Let
mean,
us
if
know in the chat.
well, again, I know. We can understand if you're just chilling in chat and just want to listen to uh, to older people complain about
Oh, heading back.
so
You were going
so
to say.
anyway, so what I want to talk about was kind of like, okay, so you're tired, but you still see that there's so much work to do. So how do you, because of course there's always a balance to things. There's always, uh, because I think the generation now is more aware of that. Okay, you have to give yourself breaks. You can't just work yourself to death. Yeah, you have to have some me time. You have to have some um so we're very open about encouraging people to rest. We're very open about encouraging people to take a break. At the same time, we're also on the other side. We're kind of careful naman on that side na you don't want to tell a person to work hard kasi he might take it too hard and it will detriment his health. So parang I feel like we're pushing too much on one side and then not so much on the other. So
That's
I kind
true.
of want to balance things out a bit more. So uh, we freely tell people to rest when they need to rest because if they're working too hard, then yeah, it's detrimental. At the same time, I don't. I mean, feel free to disagree in chat. That um, for a person to kind of idle in his rests for more than he needs is also detrimental to him, because it's lost opportunity in which he can grow in either his education, his hobbies, his character, his skills. So there's a balance that has to be reached. Okay.
Kahit mo ako pinapatamaan. Wow, I thought
Nagpapatama.
we were
Nagpapatama ka kasi.
co-hosted.
There is no.
I didn't know you brought me in as an example. But okay, to relate to what Sir Tarcy was saying, okay, I do have down days where, like, in the middle of checking, I would actually, well, my room isn't that conducive for studying, by the way. For those that join in my sessions, my class sessions, you know that my bed is right behind my work area. So yeah, it's that too close to access that whenever in the middle of I'm supposed to be studying or working, I can easily access nap time. But sometimes I do zone out. Like, I would say I want to watch one video of YouTube, which became 1 hour, which became 3 hours, which later on became 7 hours, which later on became actually straight 12 hours of just watching YouTube. Random stuff.
So that's a very specific number.
I know, but like, if I've already watched all the videos of Nightmare Expo, the reason why I watch horror stuff while checking is because I want to stay awake. But it became so interesting that I ended up watching. But yeah, how do you snap out of it? That's the thing. Because sometimes you want to consider it as rest for yourself. But sometimes you're stuck. It's like limbo. You're stuck in that limbo that, how do I need to snap out of this? And for me personally, if I may push this forward, is that you kind of have to think of it's so bad to say, think of the consequences of your actions. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. Am I going to die? No, but it's a good practice for you to understand that in every action that you do, there is a consequence. And I feel like a lot of students nowadays, no, not students only, but a lot of people nowadays lose foresight of their actions. Sometimes out of their emotion, they want to do this thing, but forget to consider what happens 5 minutes after, what happens 10 minutes after, what happens 5 years later, like that. But they ask you that in your resume, but it's something that you have to consider. And I'm telling you, it's not natural. These things don't come. It's something that you have to practice on and on. So I'm not telling you to be fortune tellers, but try to practice something that you can easily understand the consequence of. Sometimes try short goals, then maybe long goals. Because for me, my hardest thing that I always play the short game. I want to have play. It's always play first, work later kind of stuff. Na I want to feel good first before I get to work. It's something for me which I'm trying to figure out also. So like you guys, I'm figuring it out. Maybe that's why Sir Tarcy is getting me on this podcast.
I mean,
he got me as a sample.
I mean, I struggle with it also. It's just that it's easier for
Sir
of course.
Tarcy, from the religion that promotes productivity. How so?
Okay. Anyway, I mean, just because just because I'm here doesn't mean that okay, just for context, so kind of my personal motivation is so kind of sanctification of work, that I do things for any kind of work for a higher purpose. So when I'm checking assignments, when I'm creating activities, all of these things, so there's always some kind of higher intention, and it helps actually. That's actually I actually recently found out that it's a valid tool not only in religion but even in psychology. I recently watched a video of this. Is he a streamer or YouTuber? He has a Twitch channel, but then So his channel is Healthy Gamer GG. So he acts as a therapist for gamers. Also has some kind of classes, and he gave this class one time on conscientiousness. So basically, the idea of how to delay gratification, and so which is actually what we're talking about right now. I recommend that you watch that particular video. It's on his YouTube.
Straight at me or chat? I feel like it's targeting someone in particular.
Yeah. It's Dr. K. That's right. So someone in chat said it, and basically the idea is that when we're a lot better at doing something for other people, parang to kind of externalize the benefit of our actions. So when, for example, it's a lot easier for us to not eat the entire pizza because we know that there are other people who will eat the pizza, so to speak. And that comes at a loss to us because we could have one pizza, or we could have 1/3 of the pizza, or 1/6 of the pizza. So, and we don't realize it, but that's actually us denying ourselves some gratification out of respect for another person. So we just think it comes so naturally to us that okay, so yeah, we have one pizza. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3 people here, so plus me, so 4. We divide by 4. We don't think about okay, I could have had one entire pizza to myself. No, we don't think that. We think, okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. And if we contextualize our work in that sense, that okay, what am I working for? What is the objective of this particular work that I'm doing? I mean, of course, so what is the cost of study? The cost of studying is my time, my energy, my pleasure, all these things.
My sanity.
My sanity. Okay, that's definitely it. And okay, if it comes at that cost, what am I doing it for? And definitely be as personal as you want. Don't do it for a vague for my future. I mean, I guess it could work, but do it for something concrete. My brother's my brother's kind of lacing around right now. I want to provide a good example, or I want to just prove to myself that I can get a perfect score on this one single exercise, or find those smaller things that, and maybe do it for your parents, do it for I want to show my parents that I'm grateful for the education so I would recommend that try to bring it closer to home. Sometimes the farther you make it, the more distant and more detached you can be from those particular ideas. So it can even be nonsensical, as in okay, this is kind of stupid, but it's always the thing that comes to mind whenever I think of this kind of unrelated but additionally motivating things.
For the horde.
Okay. So back in high school, I could never. I'll mention her name
Get
though.
a straight one.
Hang on. Do I mention it? Because I'll need to mention her name.
You need her consent form.
I mean,
post consent. Is it bad?
It's not bad. It's she's mentioned, and it's her nickname. So I can probably mention it. Okay. So we mentioned was that last stream, or was it the last stream that about relationships and all these things? So as if you'll watch that, you'll remember that I had a sort of relationship back in high school.
Do I point to the link?
No, this time. Okay, and I kind of always found it stupid. That thing that sports people do. That this shot is for you. Parang ganon. Yung ganon. You know that, right? No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Pero okay. So I found it super corny kasi parang I mean, that person's on the bench, parang that person's technically not a factor. So how well you do is just basically how well you do normally. But then this classmate of mine, he was standing underneath, parang siya yung taga-saluna. So we were doing 3-point shots at the time for PE. And then he was standing beneath the net to pass the ball back to us. And then, okay, her nickname was Isa. Okay. And
search, guys, just keep on searching. Batch 2000.
Anyway, so what he did as I was about to shoot was he'd raise up his hand and say, "Oh, Tarcy, ilan to?" And then parang kind of just making me remember her as I was shooting. It actually went in. It actually went in. Like I had 3 in a row or 4 in a row.
Wait, the amazing part there is that you actually play basketball.
I mean, I can shoot. I can't dribble. Pero so, okay.
Yeah.
So,
sensical stuff, I get.
Parang walang connect, di ba? Pero at the same time, we can draw inspiration and motivation from others if we even think about doing it for them. And it can help us work through harder times.
I view it differently though. If I would digress, like going back to that pizza story, is if you have that enough love, and take note, it's pizza. If you have that enough love to stop yourself from eating more than your share of the pizza, so in that scenario, if you can give that much love to others as well, why not give that much love to yourself as well? So enjoy the things that you do. By, like you said, if you want to study, try to find why are you trying to do this. So again, it's going down deeper, and we're losing viewers. Oh my gosh, from 19 to 18. What did I say? But but it is something that I understand. It's something that you have to. It's perspective, like what you said. That it changes your mood to make things more positive. So when we can easily see things as negative, as our sanity losing day by day from the wrecks that we do, but maybe we can find some positive things na day by day, we're getting closer to graduation. We're getting closer to the course I like. We're getting closer to maybe freedom that you'd like to get. So, may pasok kang mga UP. Oh my gosh, it's wawa kayo. To the freedom that is UP. Oh, that's Bianca, our former 2020 student. So yeah, I hope you're loving college because we didn't. We had to get out as fast as we can.
No, I mean, I stayed for an extra sem.
Oh, you stayed for an extra sem voluntarily? But yeah, I mean, sometimes we rush things. We forget that we can try to enjoy the things that we're doing. And going back now, are we going to say this builds character? We're going to be better in the future? Not necessarily, but try to live your life right now. I'm not saying YOLO, but just try to live as much as you can with what you have, especially with the Chinese vaccine going around. Just kidding.
I mean, I wouldn't say the right now because again, we're kind of also, parang we don't want to YOLO things and just live for the moment. We also have to, we normally work towards something, which is something in the future, which is why we invest. But rather to see the value of the things that we're doing now. So, okay, we might not enjoy this particular thing that we're doing, but we can at least recognize that it's valuable.
Okay. Something to show the people right now. Sorry for cutting you. Something to show how valuable now is. I'm sorry, our alumnus that are in our chat, but do you miss Pisay life? Like, do you miss your high school life? Something to show that our current students right now in Pisay that it's not something to be taken granted of.
I mean, I don't miss my high school life. I mean, of course, there are certain nice moments, but I don't think I'd miss it. Do you miss? Do you miss high
Oh,
school?
I didn't get to experience high school that much. That's the thing. And I think that's why I'm enjoying Pisay a bit too much that I should. It's because I think I'm living my high school life in Pisay. So for those who are batch 2022, I feel like you guys who just got into Pisay when you guys got to grade 7 as well. That was my first year teaching. So maybe now I'm feeling the dread of Pisay now that I feel like I'm grade 11-ish in terms of 2020 batch 2022 years.
Let's see.
All boys school. You don't, it's not much fun.
But I mean, it's a school. Yeah, but you wanna read up through chat? Because there were a few things that they mentioned that they do for fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
Some of their students say, some of our former students say hi. So
mm,
aside from hi, sorry. But thanks for those that said Dr. K. It's something that I think I should look up to.
mm.
Some say that they miss the community. That was from Bianca. Some Kendrick misses. Yes, he does miss Pisay. Uh, Matty was your student, right?
Yeah. Was she not your student?
No, sadly
Uh,
no. But
mm.
she does says that she does miss it with yes, she misses high school with very rose-colored lens. Now the thing is, I guess so.
Yeah,
When you
I would
grow
agree. I
up,
would
you
agree.
get to see more perspective in different ways. And that's the thing. There's a saying that how could I have noticed it with red
Rose,
what was it? Rose
rose
colored
tinted, rose tinted glasses.
yes, rose-tinted glasses. But the thing is, love itself is sometimes seen in the color of rose. That's why it looks normal. So if you love something, it can easily pass through the lens of a rose-tinted glasses. So I don't know. If you're blindsided or sometimes you don't see things immediately, don't be too hard on yourself. It happens. You just have to look extra closely. And yeah, high school has its ups and downs. It's just enjoy the ups, learn from the downs, I guess.
Wait, so it's bad to think of high school fondly?
No, no, no. Oh, did I say that?
Parang
Was that
kasi,
what I said?
I mean, kasi you're saying na
Oh,
you're
the way
looking
I was
at it.
saying that. No, that wasn't what I said. That was what Matty said.
No, no, no. Pero,
Her
I mean,
words. My interpretation, I guess.
I mean, the fact that you see things with rose and glasses means that there was something good there. It's just that sometimes we can kind of overestimate the good that we got from it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we support a kind of realistic view of our experience. So, not overly optimistic, not overly pessimistic. No, high school was fun, definitely. I don't want to go back to it though. So,
Go to it we
go
attend it
back
every
as
day.
a student. I don't want to
Okay.
suffer through that awkwardness again.
You're still awkward.
Well,
What's the
okay.
difference?
No,
Awkward with authority, I guess. That's Sir Tarcy.
yeah, parang, at least if I'm a teacher, I can pass it off as parang, no. This is the way that I'm supposed to be. If I'm a student, parang, okay, you caught me. I'll just be awkward.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun. I do see so these are the things that you will reminisce, but it's also okay. Am I going to say it safe? Also, try to make the memories as well. Don't just live through high school, but make the memories here as well. I'm not saying to do bad things. Also, make the good memories. How do you how do you say it properly?
Mm, yeah, I really can't. It's not live in the moment because that's kind of and,
Yeah.
but then there's a
Why does
consensus.
everything have Why does everything have like double meanings to it? I
Well, I
guess.
mean, it's the world that we, it's how things are. Okay.
So
Hmm?
going forward, was there something that you wanted to add?
Let's see. Do we want to save that one question for
No.
na
I think we have to. It's related to what we're going to talk about now.
okay.
Um.
Mind if I start off? Wala na.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
You say. I might spill the beans.
Okay, so the thing is, we were talking about struggling and working and doing what you can. That even though times might be hard, sometimes we have to find that we have to work, and that even if you can't do well, the mere act of doing or trying is something valuable. That it's not necessarily the output; it's more of the fact that you did it, even though it came at a cost to yourself. Now, we understand that maybe externally that might not seem the case because teachers grade the output, teachers grade assignments, the world hires based on qualifications and all of these other things. Schools accept based on grades. But if we're going, we shouldn't really, don't try to box yourself into that mentality that the only value of what you produce is that external thing. It's just as much you and what you learn and what you went through. And while we say that, okay, anything that's worth doing is worth doing well, and anything that's worth doing well is also worth doing poorly. But I would draw the line at anything that's worth doing well should not be done badly. And I kind of want to let's distinguish between poorly and badly. Okay, so poorly is that you did your best and it falls short or is incomplete in certain way. Badly is you're doing the work but at the same time kind of twisting it and changing it so that it kind of loses its value. So yun nga,
The
well,
essence. Yeah. You lose the
the,
essence of the
the essence
work.
of so yun nga parang maybe well let's I mean since we're talking to students, mostly students, we so schoolwork, I mean we go through the effort of learning so that we can do our assignments. Well, not really to do our assignments to learn, but the learning helps us do our assignments. And so we do our assignments, we submit them, we're graded on them. But every now and then, so we might not do as well. So that's doing it poorly. We might not have researched enough material. We might not have reviewed the proper chapters as well as we should have. But then doing it badly, you could have a nice output. But for example, if group work is part of the criteria, and you kind of offloaded everything to one of your group mates, and the output is nice, definitely, you get the high score. But did you do that work well? Did you do it poorly or did you do it badly? I mean, objectively speaking, probably you did well, but I would say that you did badly because kind of missed the point. Because the point of any, at least school activity, is to learn. And the fact that you kind of skipped over that part means that the time that you spent, even though maybe it didn't cost as much, in terms of effort, in terms of time, you kind of cheated yourself out of the good that you're actually aiming for.
It was you missed out the essence of the work. It's like, yeah, you have the output. You shortcutted your way to the finish line, but was it worth it? And these are the things that it's not seen immediately, but I promise you it manifests later on. It's not karma. It's something that if you know you can, let's say if you know you can cheat yourself today, you know you can cheat yourself later on. What we're trying to tell you is that we want to value high school, especially high school is about learning. It's about trying your best. Try, actually emphasize on trying. And what we want to impart on the students is just to try. But sometimes the students forget that, it's a wrong part on, kasi in our school, in our system right now, we do value too much on the output, which we forget to recognize those who really tried. That's why I kind of tend in my classes only. I'm not sure with Sir Tarsi, but I kind of relate
Oh.
more and befriend actually more to the people that are really, really trying their best, who started way, way from the bottom, but are really trying their best. That I see that they're doing well because they're trying, as opposed to those who are really doing well already in class. Which I think nainis yung ibang students sa akin dahil, but mas minapansin ko yung hindi na, yung mga, yung I don't value the perfect, the do-gooders. How do you how do you say it? Those who do really, who perform so super super well. The lords, the gods, chem lord, chem lord, math lord, mga ganun. I kind of tend to shy away from them. It's because I guess I can't relate to them. But for those that I see who are really doing an extra effort just to catch up, I kind of recognize that you're doing good. You're trying your best, and I know. And that's what I hope the students can see also in themselves, because if you know in yourself that you can try, later on, you know you will keep on trying as well. As opposed to someone that knows that I could have, I took the shortcut here, I can easily take the shortcut later on. It's the difference from working smart from working, like what Sir Tarsi said, working badly. Working smart, yes, you can work smart because you value the work. But working badly, you're valuing the output and um your own satisfaction. Um oh my gosh, I'm turning so much to a dark corner there, but it's it does manifest later on in the future. To give you insight of my law school life, to show you how bad I was very honest in school, to the point that
Wow.
I came to class that I read the first 20 cases, except that when I was called for class, I was I was called for the 21st case. Now, one thing that my students, my classmates do, which I cannot follow them. They're very very good at it, but I can't seem to do it. Is that they can BS through it. They can really look smart, saying that, oh, I know this case. I know what this is all about. This starts talking about a different case, and my classmate was called out of it. But when it was my turn, who got called on a case which I haven't read, I honestly told the teacher na, I'm really really sorry, ma'am, but I wasn't able to reach this far. And she smiled. It's okay. I'm not sure because dahil gwapo daw ako dati, pero anyways, but the reason, but she let me off. She said, and it happened 3 times in her class. Na I
Wow,
kept on
okay.
falling short. No, it was bad. I know. Like I got called once. Sige na, kalusot na ako. Second time, I did show her na I did read a part of the case, and I was really sure. Pero she said it's okay. Don't worry about it. The third time, but it actually pushed me later on the fourth time na there will be never a fourth time. I will really show her na I'm going to finish all the cases. I did. I did get to finish all the cases because I believe that I really tried, and I had that confidence. I didn't read the cases for the next class, which I got called for, but sad. But well, at least I did show in that. I did well in that class. I do miss. It's all about trying your best to do and show that you're really trying, and you have to be honest. Kasi if you're not honest with yourself and you just show just for the sake of I tried. Oh, by the way, why I'm saying this is because I actually have oh shoot, should I say it? Sige,
Hmm?
bahala na. I have some students that actually submitted some output that were empty, but it was marked submitted. So I was thinking, are they trying to think na they did the effort, but they think na hindi ko checkan? Because I do check the work.
Mm.
And it hurts my head that I have to check all the essays that are. really long. But I really do like reading yung mga, kasi for my students, a trick here in, if you don't know the answer, try to impress on me that you've learned something. Not try to impress on me that you're trying to swindle me of what you think is correct. No, no. Try to tell me that how you understood the lesson. And that's the thing that I actually give a lot of points to. Um of course, if you could give it the answer straight away, that's okay, that's perfect na, fine. But for those, kasi I can easily tell those that don't know the answers because it's very hard. Some of the essays are very complex and very hard to the point that they really have to think and analyze how they apply it nowadays. Sorry, biglang soksay. Kasi you didn't talk about coding eh. That's why soksay yung tuloy.
Well, I mean, I need an off day.
But yeah, I really, for to help the students realize, for us teachers, we really value those that try. Honestly, as in, hands down, we love it. As in, we super love it. We if we talk about in SCOCOM about the students that need help, we praise students that are really trying, especially those that were catching up with the backlogs, and then suddenly nag-effort bigla na they were able. You'd see tears of joy for this, for some of the advisors, kasi it's not that they don't have to report on that student anymore, but it's really they see the progress a lot. Yeah, SCOCOM. SCOCOM has a lot of emotions.
Yeah, right. Okay, just to round off on that, say.
Oh, well, what do you talk about? If you see Nathan's comment, he says, "My speech prof in college used to say, if you can't dazzle with brilliance, dazzle with DS." How would you? But that's for public speaking, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can
would you
imagine, if it's public speaking, parang the way that you present yourself is kind of the skill that you're aiming for. So, I mean, that's technically valid. So, acceptable. I suppose, to kind of, come back to things, yeah, rather than talk about doing things poorly, yeah, what we are saying, to value the effort, to value your own personal time, to value that you saw that this thing was worth putting time to. It's worth how many minutes of your time, and to actually get what you came to get out of it, which is knowledge, experience. Even if you're going to just say that, okay, I didn't really learn anything, but I built character. You can, I mean, it's worthwhile. I mean,
for effort.
To be honest, we kind of have different principles when it comes to or rather, not different principles, but kind of different cutoffs. Kasi ikaw basta mag-effort 1 to 5. Ang ganda mo. Ganda ba?
Basta. Grabe naman. I value effort. Basta yun na. Promise, it's hard to make that effort.
Okay, pero parang kasi I think at least in Socksai parang there's a lot more room to give effort, where in Comsci.
No. Are you bashing Socksai? Are you?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have more humanitarian approaches to education.
I saved.
Okay, but in Comsci, since it's kind of like, okay, this has to be the output of your code, it's kind of hard to apply the same rules. But at the same time, I'm also a fan of the.
Is there no heart in Comsci? Is there no heart in coding?
The fact that as long as it works, it's perfect score is already the heart, because otherwise we'd also implement is your code optimized and all of these things. But
Okay.
but I'm really a fan of the underdogs na type na they didn't like Comsci that much, and they didn't do well at the start, but at the end, their code isn't perfect, but it shows that they've actually learned something over the months that I've been teaching them. the example that I'm thinking of is though isn't Comsci.
Naruto.
It's no
In
no it's
Naruto.
no it's
Yeah, he was the underdog. Oh my gosh, I want to watch Naruto tuloy. I want to finish it. Everything you were describing was Naruto. Diba? The underdog who came up later on top and learned through his own ways.
I mean, he had a lot of luck though.
Oh, maybe chat knows where I can watch Shippuden because I can't find. It's not on Netflix, eh. So yun.
Anyway, one story that my teaching story that comes to mind when I think of this kind of thing, that the value of effort. They're probably not in chat, pero so I can. It's not from ComSci, it's from tech. So in my first year of teaching, I taught ad tech. So to the grade 8 students.
Can you imagine Sir Tarcy teaching ad tech?
Why? I mean, I'm a pretty technical person.
A hands-on teaching class.
Yung
with carpentry.
What? I can handle tools.
Well,
yung mahirap lang is I had to go all the way up to the 4th floor every day. So the thing that I remember is the thing is, code, as long as you type it correctly, it'll work. The thing with ad tech though, you can have all the skills pero magkamali ka lang ng marang isang technique ng pagputol ng it can can mess up your entire thing. And I remember this so we were working on the toy car project, in which they build a car out of material which is supposed to carry an egg across the finish line. It's supposed to go straight by this amount, and it's supposed to be able to resist a fall of this high. And there was this group na grabe ang effort nila. Talagang saludo ako. We stayed in the ad tech lab until 6 p.m. trying to work on their And the thing is, hindi pa rin gumagana eh. As in, I mean, it would run, but it would parang angle off to the side. So parang it would, kasi the rubrics for the alignment tests were pretty kind of set in stone. So it had to travel this far without deviating this far to the left or to the right. So talagang I was staying with them. So it was already the deadline, and then
so go.
Don't reach out. Beastly. And then so at the end, it was already the deadline. Sabi ko, shucks, it's already the deadline. What can I do to help these people who are clearly showing this effort, but
it doesn't fit the matrix.
The required results aren't met. Okay. Iuwi niyo yan. Work on it. But
homework? You gave them homework?
No. Actually, I gave them more than homework. Parang, so you can have more time to work on it, even though the deadline is today. But I want you to make a commercial out of it. So parang a commercial that shows that it's able to do all the things, that it goes straight, it can fall, and all these things. And they did it. They managed to do it. Parang with the extra time, they managed to fix it. So I guess my point.
What you taught them was how to become very good engineers. How to pass off things that shouldn't be.
No.
Things that work when it doesn't work.
The thing that I'm kind of trying to if you put in effort, people will help you.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Oh, a reading of chat. The OG ad tech. Oh no, you're the OG. No, the supreme, I guess. Supreme ad tech teacher. Sir Nathan is here. He said the name of the car was the Tarcy.
Yeah, it was called Tarcy. Parang when they presented the commercial, so yeah, parang they named it and everything.
Is it on YouTube?
No, it's not on YouTube, thank God.
No! Ask them to post it in... Which batch was this? 2019.
Anyway, so...
2018, 2019.
So...
Maybe Matty and the others could find it. Please ask, shout out to your batchmates, maybe they know where the Tarcy is.
Anyway, so... But what I wanted to point out here is that, and actually, I only realized as I was telling the story is, okay, definitely, efforts might not have the expected output in terms of parang you can try as hard as you might, and sometimes it still falls short. But when people see that you're trying, people will help. So the only my main motivation for helping these students and giving them the extra time, though, I since they took it home, I wasn't there to check it, so they had to make a commercial. That was what the commercial was for. I wasn't giving them extra work. I mean, it is extra work, pero I mean, I had to fulfill the rubrics. So, um, the reason that I was compelled to help them was because they showed that they really were trying their best. And
You weren't compelled. You could have easily given them a failing grade.
I mean, I could have. I didn't want to.
Yeah, but it does. There's a teacher factor that comes in later on when you can show the teachers that you've done the effort. But it also goes the other way. If you shortcut it, we actually also view it as something
Yeah.
bad, and therefore we start grading against it. Not well, strictly against it. So
Just yeah, I can also give a few examples of that, but maybe not. maybe let's end this on a more positive note.
okay.
Anyway, it's 9:17. Anything else that you want to mention before we kind of round this off?
Shout out to everyone out there. Thanks so much for staying. I know it's been, what's this? Our fourth episode?
Fourth episode.
One. No.
Fourth.
No.
I'm looking at the title of this.
Right. No. We secretly have a episode 0. Maybe you can search it somewhere out there. It's all our B-rolls that we've at our. No, just kidding. But yeah. Is there anything that we should be talking about? Hang in there, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
For our alumnus that are out there that are studying, it's just the start of your sem. I know it's so dreadful, but hang in there. For our students that are in the middle already of third quarter without realizing in the next 3 weeks is already their summative exam already.
I thought we were ending this on a high note.
All right. What's the high note?
That we believe in you.
wow, you shouldn't.
Okay. No, I mean, okay. What's the right expression for that? Serious or smile?
No. We really do.
Yeah,
considering that the situation that we're in, it's really, really, really hard. But I guess we just miss. Do we miss teaching face to face?
I do.
It's a computer.
No, I mean, I miss going around between computers and peeking at code and people getting conscious why I'm standing behind them for so long.
Like pointing out the student's mistake in class, but in a nice way. Man, Prisoner's Dilemma is not fun. Oh, Nita's here. Prisoner's Dilemma isn't fun. It's not online. Maybe.
Anyway, so yeah.
No, I know how we can end it. Watch out for our high note in episode 6.
Episode 5.
Right. Episode 5.
Right. Anyway, so I guess we just want to tell you guys that do your best. We know that it's hard, but I hope that you see the value in the things that you do, even though it might not be as obvious. And we hope that you put in that sincere effort. And as long as you do, we'll definitely do what we can to help you, whether it's your teachers, your advisor, your parents. So we'll value it as much as you do. Okay, I think that's it. So
is that a good? Yeah, that's a good note, I guess.
Right. So thanks for tuning in. I guess.
Hey, by the way, if you want, if anyone in the chat, if you want, invite others as well, or if you want a topic that for us to talk about, we do. If you've noticed, all of us have different perspectives on these topics, like Sir Tarcy, Sir Nathan, and I, we have very different approach. Like for me, when I was listening to that ad tech story, as a socksci teacher, I would say, why would you subject the egg to such pressure? There are a lot of people that are hungry. That's my
Uh,
view, and that's
that's
my unique
that's far from the
as
point.
a socksci teacher. If you have any topic that you'd like us to talk about, or a game that you want us to watch us play, like Among Us,
I don't
should we
think I
do
can
Among
stream a
Us?
game. My computer can't handle streaming a game and
If you
running
want
the
to
game.
watch an A5 FPS Among Us on Certain Season 3, you have to guess who killed, because even you don't know who killed them. But yeah. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Phasmophobia. I wanna. We should try.
I don't know. Maybe we can, figure something out. But yeah, maybe we can also get Nathan to join in sometime.
Oh,
To
they should
speak
watch
as
you
an.
guys play. Oh, or a game of Marvel vs. Capcom.
And I'm gonna lose 9-1. No,
Show them who the real winner is. You see Sir Tarcy suddenly start practicing.
I can't even practice.
Okay, Sir Nathan will practice then.
Okay, so it's 9:22. I think it's time to end. So thank you all for joining. If you have topics to suggest, there's the Google form. If you want to mention anything, it's there. And hope you'll join us again next week. This
I
was
haven't
up.
done my dailies. I haven't done my dailies today. Oh my gosh, yes. Bye!
All right. Okay. Thanks for joining in.